Hello there, yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here on the west coast of Canada on this chilly, what is it? It's Wednesday evening, November the 27th, 2024. How are you all doing? I hope you're well and staying safe. If you're happening across this channel for the very first time, I've set this channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures in knitting, crocheting, as well as where I purchased my yarn from, all tools of my craft. So if that's of interest, please stick around. And for those who are returning, I want to say welcome back. I've been loving the comments. I respond as quickly as I can. I know I've been a little bit absent here on the channel for maybe 10 or 11 days. So I've been missing you. Need to make another video. So here I am. Got a lot of things to cover tonight. So I will be talking to you about a make-along that I'm hosting. It's coming to a conclusion and everyone has like 2 days left. So November 30th, 2024 will be the last day that I will be taking entries, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I have to cover some finished objects, works in progress, which will be updates on what I've been working on in the last little while. And what else do I have for you? I've got some happy mail as well. So someone sent me a wonderful pattern that they've designed, and I want to show you the make that this creator has given me as a gift to try it out. So try out a finished piece already. So I have some ideas behind doing the make myself to try out the pattern. But these are lovely and warm little mittens that I absolutely adore. So I'll show you those. But before I get going, I want to talk about what Hank, my man for me, is wearing and what I'm wearing. So Hank is wearing a crocheted shawl that I completed maybe a year ago, and it's called Fields of Clover. It's by a designer called Lily Go. All of my mentions will be linked down below on patterns, or if I mention a YouTuber, any other information that I can possibly share with you after I post this and upload it will be down in the description box. So if you're looking for more information, go down there and check it out, because there are helpful links there along the way. And what I'm wearing is a knitted cowl. This is something I made up myself, and it uses stranded color work in knitting and also brioche, and this is one of my favorite pieces. I dug it out because I hadn't seen it for a while. It was somewhere in my shelves, and I thought I'm going to go through all my shelves and just rearrange some yarn, and then this popped out and I was like, oh yeah, I had forgotten that I had this. So it was a wonderful find and I absolutely love it. Okay, there's no pattern for it. I just was playing around with brioche, doing some decreasing, and then also doing some stranded color work. And I've called it something. I've called it the nested cowl, the nested brioche cowl. So as you can tell, each of the brioche sections are nesting into one another because there are decreases along the way. I really like it. So let's cut into what I have done and finished over the last time since I dropped an update video for you. I'm happy to say this has been 14 to 16 months in the making. Granted, it was put aside for about 6 months during the hot season of spring and summer on a timeout, but also there was some complications that I needed to figure out on what to do at certain stages. Because it was notes in my journal, my knitting journal, I kind of had sketched out what I wanted to do for this piece, and it's my cable hooded vest, and it's finished. So you've seen all of the body work done. You haven't seen the hood itself completed, but the banding as well around, picking up stitches around the sleeves. So these were raw sleeves when I last showed, and now it's all done and it's been blocked and it's wonderful. This is a gift that I knitted for Chad, who had his birthday just recently. So happy birthday, Chad. I know it's belated. it did make his birthday in time, so he has worn it, but I've said, can I please show it here on the video so that, on the channel, so that people can see what it looks like. And it has on the hoodie, the back of the hoodie, because that's connected to the sweater vest, it has the cabling that goes up the back of the hat as well. So a little bit about this. I know I've touched on it many times, but now it's done. I can say that the pattern I did use a Celtic Knot pattern, which is a 16 row repeat, I think. And so I added it here. This will be down in the description box as well, where you can link to it. It was a free pattern. And then everything else I added in myself. So the elongated seed stitch, the honeycomb cable stitch, there was some ribbing on the sides, and some like a basket weave, kind of like knitted 1x1 ribbing as well. So I alternated every so often. And I just did a 2x2 ribbing cuff here for the sleeves. And down here, I did a 1x1 ribbing for the band. Up here, a 2x2 ribbing. It was the hoodie band. And I folded it over because there were a number of stitches. I think there were like 10 stitches in my edging. And then I folded it over and seamed it so that it would give it some structure. The hoodie was constructed with following the same kind of like the patterning on the back. And I picked up stitches for the sides and decreased to curve this around and towards the front of the head. The yarn that I used was a gifted yarn. I also have some footage of Chad wearing this, and also some better displayed clips that I'll add after I just talk about the yarn and the needles that I used. I was gifted this yarn by Crystal over at Bag a Day. It used 5 hanks, almost the full entire 5 hanks, but I had this much left over, which is roughly around, I'm going to say maybe 10 grams, if that. And it's the Croft, which is a West Yorkshire spinner's yarn, and it's wonderfully and woolly. It's single ply. It's quite a hairy yarn, and it's 100% Shetland Island wool. The weight of it was Aran, so quite a little bulky or a little thicker than a worsted weight. And so in my 100 grams, I got 166 meters or 182 yards. The color of this is called Rolling Hills. Excuse me. And I used my, oh, that's not the one. I used my 5mm Chargu knitting needles on a cable cord that was, I think it was like 32 inches. And I worked it in the round. Because it was such a spongy type stitch with all of the cables and then some seed stitching and some rib stitching, I found that blocking it twice actually gave me the true size that it was going to measure when I needed to have it finished. So when it was around in the cable and I was knitting it, it was like maybe a 36 kind of like all scrunched up, 36 kind of circumferenced piece in a tube. I worked it bottom up, and by the time I did my second blocking, it did measure 44 inches around. So I got 8 inches of stretch when I blocked. So again, here it is here before I show my clips. I absolutely love it. And I will insert the clips here now so that you can see it in daylight, because right now I'm just using a studio light and it is dark at night here, and you'll see it in daylight, but you'll also see Chad wearing it. So here are the clips here. Enjoy it. Next up are two almost finished works. I just have one detail to add in, and I wanted to get these into this video because I wanted to have a bit of a show and tell. Even though they're not completely done, I will add that one little aspect in and they'll be ready to be gifted. Now, these are holiday gifts that I've created for two little nieces, and it is the Albert Bear by Herr Wolle. Herr Wolle is the designer. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is a paid for pattern. I'll leave it down in the description box as well, where to find it. And it is in English and in German. There are written instructions row by row. So when I was going through it several times now that I've done it, there's some counting involved, which means you have to focus, but then there's long stretches of rounds of just single crochet, which allows you to concentrate and enjoy your favorite podcasts, or if you're watching a movie. So I do like that there are times when you can sort of just relax and enjoy the, you know, the movement of the crochet, or you then have to concentrate and do some decreases or increases. So there's counting involved in those areas. So yeah, do you want to have a look? I'm super excited. I'll show you both at the same time. So here they are here. These are for my two little nieces. They'll get one each. The older niece is 7 and her favorite color is purple. So this bear will be going to my first niece, and yeah, she'll give her the name that she wants to give this bear. And the second one here is for the niece that's 5 years old, and she'll be able to give this bear his or her name according to what she wants. And the thing that I missed that I haven't done yet are the eyebrows. So if you can see on the little thumb sketch here that this Albert has some eyebrows. So I'm going to be doing some eyebrows, and then they'll be set aside for presents and wrapped up. So yeah, what do you think? They're so cute. The yarn that I used, okay, I hear you ask, what yarn did you use? I used a combination of yarns. Some of them were from minis and some of them were scraps from other healthy balls that I had left over from projects. So 100% cotton for many of them, and one which is this interesting kind of textured yarn. That one is a cotton acrylic blend. Okay, so the majority of them, the 100% cotton, is from Hobbii. And I got some of this pink left for the legs of the pink one. Hobbii Rainbow. And this is 100% cotton and is considered a sport weight yarn. So it's number 2. Or in Hobbii language, they have it on here as a 8/6, which is their way of calling the thickness of the yarn there. 8/6. I also used 100% cotton, excuse me as I reach down here, the Rico Rumi DK it's not really DK because I found this one thinner than the Hobbii, which is classified a 2-weight, which is a sport weight yarn. So this one was a little thinner than Hobbii, but as you can see, some of the pinks and the purple are gone from this set. And this was a gift that was sent to me by MSA. Thank you so much for this gift. It did help me get through and finish these bears because I didn't have enough purple. My pinks might have been okay, but I wouldn't have had the paler pinks that were provided in this kit. So that's awesome. And I also used, for my nose, I used this white one. It was a little thicker. I'm going to say this one was a DK weight. So I could get more of the snout and have it a little thicker than the rest. Now this one is a yarn that was purchased at Hobbii, but it was a different brand. It wasn't a Hobbii brand. It was this one here. And this is the Gossipiem Cotton Tweed. What are they classifying it as? A 3-weight? I'm not sure if there's a number on this. I found it to be quite one of the thicker varieties of yarn. I don't see it at the moment on what thickness it is. And lastly, but not by no means the least, sorry, I've got 2 more. For my features that I put on the nozzle as the lips and the mouth was this black. And this one was from Hobbii. And that is the Oliven. Now this is a blend of cotton linen. So not 100% cotton, but a blend. The other blend that I got was from this one here, which is a Stonewash from Shepjes. And that's all that I had left. It's like a little nugget. I bought a box set of Stonewash River Wash. I can't talk tonight. Little nuggets. And I believe they were 8 grams per nugget. And that's all that I had left from the purple on the purple bear. So that's it there. So cute. All right, so the nose and eyes were from this set here. I've got different colored sets and different noses. And I purchased this from Amazon. And they came with the backing, little kind of plugs that you put in the back, and that helps push the fabric around each of the pieces quite nicely. So there's a better seam from fabric to the eye or the nose. So they're very, very helpful finishing off the piece. And again, here they are. What do you think? They're so cute, really cute. The ears kind of like sometimes fall down, but the purple and pink bear, I love them. Oh, before I forget about adding in what hook size I used, it was a 3mm and it was a Prim hook. Now, Prim to me is quite a new hook. I haven't used a Prim before. Before I start talking about my work in progress, I have one to detail. I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about the MAL that I'm hosting, or the Make Along. I started a MAL that happened to be in September of this year, so it's been going for about 9 weeks. It's ending on November 30th, 2024, which is in a couple of days. And the name of this MAL that I am hosting right now, it's called the #Moodboard MAL Fall 24. I know it's quite a mouthful. And the theme of it is the blend ship boards. So if you were almost finished or just taking photographs of your finished works, that's the mood board and the make, and wanted to send them in to me, you do have a couple of days. So I will be accepting them up till the close of November 30th, 2024. And then I'll put the slideshow together, which I'm super excited about. There have been a number of wonderful All of them have been wonderful entries and a vast array of different things, showing off stitches that I haven't tried before, or even wonderful makes or ideas I have not considered doing myself. So it's a wealth of inspiration there, and I hope that everyone will come back and watch the participant slideshow for this mood board mail in December. Now, if you feel that you've already sent me in your entry and I have not responded, and you feel, oh, I don't know whether I've received it. Now, with modern technology, there is human error, but there's also some weird things that happen along the way. So please do send it in to me again and check the email that you've written. It may be slightly incorrect, and it is urbanyarn101@gmail.com. It's also included down below in the description box and to every video for that fact. After the show notes, you'll see a little bit of how to get a hold of me, and that's where the email address is as well. A lot of the entries have disclosed some wonderful stories about who they picked, what the connections were between themselves and their special person. And I feel really honored to be told the stories and learn a little bit more about you. Now, these are personalized things. They won't be discussed during the slideshow presentation. So if you don't want to share those stories with me, but just want to enter, then you can still do that, because it is a beautiful piece between you and that person that you choose. So if you feel like gifting that to a person, like the make that you've made it for, that shows the connection between you two, I thought that would be a wonderful way of sharing your blendship or friendship with the person offering up this wonderful make that you've made for them. So yeah, that covers everything, I think, with the mood board mail. And if you feel that you haven't received a response from me, to go ahead and send it in again. And I will now turn to my whip that I've got to talk to you about. So in my last video, this is a slow process work that I'm working on right now. It's called the Mosaic Vine, and it is a knitted shawl. And I don't want to lose stitches because I can see it sliding towards the end. And this is by Natalie Savant. That's what it looks like there. I'm getting to the end. I have in the pattern, there are a number of charts, 11 in all. I've completed all 11 charts. Now, because I want to get it longer length, I'm adding in a couple of more sections so that it reaches a 6-foot length. And here it is. It's getting there. I probably have about 2 more sections, and then I'm going to wrap this one up, block it, and it should grow just that little bit extra. I absolutely love it. It is quite a tedious work of yarn, capturing your yarn as you work through. So each row now that I've got, I counted them recently, I almost have 200 stitches. By the time I finish with a couple of more sections, I think I'm going to have over 200, like maybe 220 to 240 stitches. So I think last time I showed you, I was up to half of, or 2/3 of this orange and purple, or salmon color and purple. And you start at this end, so the rows are very quick, and then as it grows towards the base here, and it's done on an angle. So there is, what do they call that? Asymmetrical. So the design sort of like offsets on an angle, and I really like that. So since there, I've done the checkered section down here, and now I'm doing the smaller leaf section down in, I believe that's chart number 2. So yeah, I love it. Love the way it looks, and I don't think I'll do another one, to be honest. If this pattern were to be like, now that I know what it means to do the mosaic knitting, I think I like mosaic in a small part of a feature of a larger design, but to do all mosaic knitting like this one, I don't know whether I would choose that pattern again, just personally, but that's it there. So a little bit about the yarn. Oh, by the way, this one was for this yarn was gifted to me, not gifted, but it was given to me to sponsor a challenge that I was accepting from Hobbii. And the challenge was #Hobbii graphical. I had done a crocheted summer tee with graphics in the yarn that they had supplied, but this one was a knitted version that kind of went a bit longer because it's so involved, and I needed probably another 2 months or 3 months after that challenge was over to get it to this stage. So slow process, but I really love the effect of how all these leaves are coming out with the colors that I chose from Hobbii. So the yarn that I'm using is for the oatmeal color. It's this one here called Alpaca Silk. And these are considered, I think these are sport weight. No, it says here 1, so it's a fingering weight. The color is a number. It's color number 3. I'm using that along with this one here, which is Dolce Cashmere by Hobbii, and the color of this one is color number 8. So I've been going back and forth using from the center and then using from the outside. There was one other ball of yarn that I had that was left over, and it was a different yarn. It was not Hobbii, it was a Knit Crate yarn back in the day when Knit Crate was still a subscription, sending out monthly subscription, and it was I don't know what the name of the yarn was, but it was in a beautiful rich dark purple, and it was a combination from memory of linen and maybe alpaca, linen alpaca. The needles that I'm using are my Chargu stainless steel, and I believe I'm following the directions of the needle size. So this is telling me I needed to use a 4mm. So I'm using a 4mm Chargu, and my cord is around maybe 36 inches. Yeah. And this is the back of all those yarns that I captured. All those floats. That's it there. Yeah. Other things in the background that I've been working on, which I won't show and talk about because I'm compiling more of a kind of snippet compilation of videos on my Nature's Walk blanket. So I won't talk about that, but I am at the stage of pinning it down, and I will then embark on joining all the squares together. So that's sort of a slow process, but I'll add that into another video when I have more to say about it. I can't stop smiling. This next thing that I'm going to talk about, it's something super special, and it has a bit of a backstory, so it's going to be a bit of a storytelling time. But this is some happy mail that arrived here about 2 weeks ago. And if I backtrack, I'm going to say even 2 months ago, I received an email from a viewer of the channel. And he was telling me about a wonderful newfound pattern that he created. And it's to do with mitten gussets. So he was working on a pattern that was in many different sizes, and he offered to make me a pair, and I got so excited because I like new techniques. I like talking about things that are, you know, in the yarn crafty community that are new and sort of people get excited about. So he sent me a pair of mittens that he made for me along with the pattern that he was working on, and he had completed it. So his handle name is Emilio Thumbgusset, and it came in this lovely gift wrap blue tissue paper. Alongside with it in this professional folder is the pattern. Now, it did come with a written note, but I've put that to the side, and I'm just looking down there. The date that he actually wrote on it was October 31st. So I guess that wasn't too long ago, but we were in discussions beforehand. And okay, so this is the pattern. It's going to be available free for people to download. So that's wonderful. And these are all the sizes that he is saying he can, you know, that you can build your own pair from. It's knitted, if I have not mentioned. Let's take a look at them. So here they are here. And I didn't want to wear them just yet because I was wanting to show you how they arrived without wearing them. And now I can go ahead and wear them and see how they feel out in the cold winter weather. So let's take a look here. Okay. So I guess they're fully reversible because the gusset that I'm seeing here could be left or right. So there's no real designated left or right. So I could switch these around, is what I'm seeing here. And there's the gusset. So they're lovely and warm. And so the yarn that Emilio has used for these, and that's the joining of the top part of the mittens. These are to the large size. His yarn that he chose was from Ice Yarns, and the yarn is called, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Is it Zerda Alpaca? Now, Ice Yarns is a yarn store that's located in Turkey, but it's an online store. And should you be looking for the color or the actual product, that's the SKU name, or number, I should say. So it's 81323. I absolutely love them. So I've gone ahead and I've taken out some yarn to try the pattern myself and see how we go. But I will be wearing these and reporting back to Emilio on how warm they are. But the gusset does look interesting, and I really like the long part here for the hand so that all of your wrist is covered from the cold, and that can go underneath your jacket nicely. So the yarn that I've chosen that I'm going to be putting together and making a set are these yarns here from Queensland. And this is a worsted weight organic Shetland wool, and it's called Walkabout. I really like the color. The color is called number 20 Glacier. And I'll just put those there. And I have this one from Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes. I don't know whether I'm going to do some striping on the cuff. I think that would look nice. And I think I got another one here somewhere. Yes, I do. So I got two of these here. Maybe combined together might give me the two pairs. And one is called, they're both Wool of the Andes, and these are sport weight yarn. So it's going to be a little finer. I might need to do a larger size so that it fits to size. The gauge will fit my hand. So yeah, and the colors that I got here are, this one's called Icicle Heather. Really, really nice. And this one is called Camel Heather. So I thought that they would work up as a great experiment for me to try out that new gusset. And it claims that there is no gap, and so they're warmer mittens. So we shall we shall find out. And I'm super excited about this. Thank you, Emilio, for sending them to me. That's it for all of the yarny talk. I'm going to shift gears now. So if you're just sticking around to hear of the yarn adventures in the last week or two, then I've got you covered. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and thank you for watching this far. Now, talking about things that have been going on in the community here with my husband Chad and puppy Pixel, I'll even make a suggestion on something fun to watch. Well, actually not fun, but riveting to watch. I'm enjoying this TV series, so if you're interested in finding out what you could stitch away to, then hang tight. I'll talk to you about what I've picked as my watching and viewing interest so far. So, okay, what's been going on? We've had a couple of outings. There was a night market kind of festival for our community. It was called the Moonlight Magic, and it was picked, I guess, because there was this harvest moon. It was ivory and low and very full, so it was a full moon, and that evening was delightful. Up front, I put some video of just as the street was kicking off with the events. They had some fire dancing, they had wonderful flags that kind of adorned the street, and all the vendors were out from our area selling their wares at discounted prices. There were food trucks. It was really a lot of fun. So I was there, and of course, yes, I did some yarn shopping, which I didn't show in this video, but I do have it for another video to show, just a small little treat, because they were there as well. I wanted to support the local yarn store. We've had a couple of fantastic storms, and I mean fantastic, not so much in a good way, because they were super strong and down some trees in our parks. There were some damaged properties. For us here, we're on the inlet of the island, so we weren't facing or west facing to the ocean, which was the more severe hit. But there was a couple of outages around the neighborhood with power, more so across the other side of the island. So I think they had some record numbers of wind for the records that they have in history. There was loads of water that was moving around. Just to give you a story about like what made those storms was that there was an offshore cyclone, which, because it's in the Pacific, it generates from the Pacific. They've given it the cyclone name. I believe it had a name though, like how they name hurricanes or tornadoes or whatever. This one just was a bomb storm or bomb cyclone that they said. All these new terms. Apparently it's been around for a while. So I'm just finding out these new terms like an atmospheric river or a heat dome or now a bomb cyclone. Yeah, so it's been quite impactful in the way of how I walk Pixel. It's been lots of, you know, slushy experience walking through parks and having some down trees, and we're through it now. I have not seen reports of the bomb cyclone still lingering. I think that the effects have fully come through, unless there's another one that's circulating from the Pacific. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything. We're having a strike. Canada Post is not delivering. They're on strike for demanding more in their way of the new contracts that are going out. They've been out now for about 2 weeks, so we're not getting any post. I was lucky enough that I actually got my post out super early for my mood board Mal makes and for the people that were in my blendship boards that I chose. So they have just reached out to me saying that they got it. So made it through Canada, and the furthest one being Australia, they received it as well. So I'm super happy that they got it in time for the holidays. Yeah, and talking about holidays, our neighbors to the south in the US are celebrating Thanksgiving. So for those who are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, it's on Thursday, today's Wednesday, I want to wish you and your family all the best and happy Thanksgiving. So if there's something that you've been wanting to watch and stitch away to enjoy, I have a suggestion here. Now, it's just new to me and I've started the first season. I'm on episode 3 or 4 and there are 2 seasons. So I've got a lot to catch up on and I'm really enjoying what I've been introduced to so far. The character dynamic is awesome. It's called Bad Sisters and it is a British broadcast. I believe that all actors are from Britain of some nature, and it's dealing with 4 or 5 sisters. I can't remember how many exactly, and the dynamic between all of them, quite individual, these characters, and they're dealing with one bad apple that's married into the family. So one of the sisters has a very, very frustrating and crazed, like I'm so crazy just seeing how awkward he is in every social setting and how he treats people is dismal. So we have this sour apple in the family and the sisters are trying to figure out how to deal with this character, and each turn I'm getting vignettes of stories that are happening in the past and happening in the current present. So I'm getting jumbled around with all the different experiences each of the sisters has with this character, and sort of like in the past, but then also bringing it forward to the present. There are some triggers in this mini-series or series that I'm watching, and I just wanted to flag it in the case where you opt out to not watching that type of program. But I'm finding the interaction between the sisters and characters is quite enjoyable, and that's my recommendation if you're wanting to watch a certain series that keeps your attention. And with that, because my phone is playing up right now, it's saying I'm full and I'm not full, so I don't know what's going on there with the battery. I want to wish you all well and hope that you have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.